Okay, we're here with Jerry Ward, BIO-S3 Training Internet Authority.
Internet Authority.
Exactly.
That sounds funny.
So Jerry, I heard something about protein cycling. Can you explain what it is and what are the benefits of it?
Protein cycling. Well, nowadays there's been, well, back in the day, how far back in the day? We'll go back to John Perillo used to suggest all of his athletes taking 600 grams of protein. And I don't know how many of you guys out there have ever tried to eat 600 grams of protein, plus your carbs, plus your fats. That's a lot of protein. I mean, it's almost impossible to get in. It gives you gas, stomach aches, diarrhea. It messes you up all the way around. Now, protein cycling is something that's been coming around, I guess, the last like 3 or 4 years. But when I first heard of it, it was done by a program called Optimum Training Systems that had a system called 4 pounds in 10 days. Gain 4 pounds of lean muscle in 10 days. And what they would do is they would keep their protein high during certain parts of the exercise phase. And then when they pulled the deload, what they would do is eat only fruit and pull the protein out. So you would have 0 protein for that day. And then when you went back the next day after that protein had been pulled out, you'd go back to not necessarily a high amount of protein, but like a moderate amount of protein with your carbohydrates. And the idea was your body will supercompensate with the protein like it does with the carbs. So in other words, if you pull carbs away, your body senses that the carbs are gone. When you finally give it back to them, they absorb more like a sponge, and you supercompensate with more carbs. Well, if you supercompensate with more protein, that means muscle, more muscle. So whether or not that theory is correct scientifically, because I'm not a scientist, I don't know, but I tried it. It's a very hard workout to do, but it worked. I was a couple pounds heavier at the end of it, and I never lost any muscle, and I was 100% natural at the time. Me and my workout partner, Donnie, 100% drug-free as teenagers, had never touched a drug, didn't even know anything about drugs, and just had this program laid out inside the book for us, and we just followed it, and it worked.
So do you use protein cycling today or no?
I don't, no. I mean, to do what we had to do inside of that workout scheme, which was for like 10 days, I wouldn't even really know where to put it. Maybe in the off season we would kind of run it like that, but it was like training like 7 days in a row. There were a lot of sets, a lot of volume, and I feel like trying to do that and piece it in wouldn't be as good as going slow and steady the way that I do normally as far as building up my muscle. But there are definitely times where I eat a whole lot less protein. Like when I come off a show, I'm eating mostly fruits, carbs, I mean Pop-Tarts. I don't eat Pop-Tarts. Any kind of junk that I can shove in my mouth, pizza, Doritos, anything in very little protein. And that'll last for a couple of days before I go right back into my rebound training. And my rebound works pretty well. It was documented this year, 50 pounds, well 55 pounds in 3 months, and still stayed pretty lean after rebounding. And basically the whole thing got started off with no protein.
Right, so basically you still take protein year round, but you know, there's some phases where you take a lot less protein.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. I mean, of course, if you're cutting carbs, like you're getting closer to a show and you're cutting carbs down. Now, why would you cut all those carbs and not any protein? It doesn't make any sense. If you're cutting carbs and your calorie deficit is increasing, doesn't mean you're going to maintain that muscle. People always talk about losing muscle. You need protein for muscle. Now, just because you eat protein on Monday doesn't mean that your body is using protein from that Monday. You could be using protein from the previous Friday that your body has had, it's been in your body. So there are pools of these things that build up that are there all the time. So it's like even if you went low protein or no protein for a day, there's still protein in your system, amino acids in your system. So it doesn't mean like it's totally out. What you're trying to do is cause a reaction hormonally to where your body freaks out and thinks it has none of it coming in. It's like water loading. If you drink 3 gallons of water, you're going to start urinating a whole lot. If you stop drinking the water, you're going to urinate at the same pace until your body realizes it's not coming in. You still have water in your body, but it's that trigger that happens that lets your body know there's no more coming in, then it slows down. It's the same thing with the protein cycle. Feeding it, feeding it, feeding it. You take it out, you still think there's protein coming in until it realizes, wait a minute, there's none coming in. Then when you start feeding it again, it triggers that response to use the protein more efficiently, a little differently. I'm not sure scientifically how it works.
Okay, this is Jerry Ward, BIO-S3 Training, and
the protein cycle bicep, and we're out.